Coming up on this edition of ATV News.
I actually don't know of any resources that Utah State has provided.
This student couple would like some help with their baby, and they're not alone.
This is amazing.
What this backyard flower garden is doing beyond blooming.
We'll show you what happened right after this nasty stop.
Last year, snow was breaking branches. I'll show you what's going on this year.
I'll show you what our football team had to dance about and their sweet moves.
All that and more, this is ATV News. "22-year-old Mahsa Amini died in Iranian custody after Iranian police detained her in Tehran, Iran, for not fully covering her hair with a hijab to abide by Iran's dress code." Welcome to this edition of ATV News. I'm Sarah Murphy.
And I'm Katie Varga. The woman's death triggered protests around the country, including a protest at one of the world's largest natural gas fields, local girls' schools, and universities. Iran's soccer team showed support of the women in their country by wearing black jackets during the national anthem to cover up their Iran's emblem on their jerseys. American actress Charlize Theron also spoke up on Twitter to say she stands with the women of Iran who are putting up with their lives on the line. She said no woman should have to fear retaliation, imprisonment, or death for making choices about what they wear or how they present themselves. The protests 7,000 miles away are still hitting home for some Aggies here at Utah State. One USU student originally from Iran with family still there who asked to remain anonymous says that forces are killing protesters in the streets. He and his family watch the news every day and says it has been very distracting and heartbreaking. He says people in the U.S. should be grateful for their freedom of speech and human rights. Utah State University sent an email to all Iranian family Aggies and said they are sincerely concerned about how the crisis is affecting them and wanted to offer support. USU offered resources including Aggie Wellness, snack, and the International Friends Program. An Iranian professor at USU wrote to the statesman asking the community to stand with the people of Iran and be flexible, offer extensions, and reach out.
And in other news, a groundbreaking brought both sides in a dispute together about the new location of the Logan Fire Station. Logan Fire and city officials gathered to break ground yesterday for the new Station 70, right across the street from the current station, which is falling apart. City officials wanted to build behind their station, but local business owners complained that they'd lose parking and customers. Both business workers and the fire chief say they're happy they could have a conversation and find a new location.
I think it's great that the voices were actually heard and that changes were made to help the businesses. I think that's amazing that the council actually listened.
This is the right decision. It's the right for the city and the fire service for the future to be located right here where we have traditionally been, where we're best able to best serve this neighborhood.
Logan City Fire says they expect to move in August 2023.
President Joe Biden made some adjustments to his student loan forgiveness plan, while the current $10,000 available to students hasn't changed. The payment pause on federal loans will continue through the end of 2022, but the payments will resume thereafter. The Education Department will soon lay out the plan in detail and provide information on an application that will be used to obtain the forgiveness.
This is just kind of another leg up on what's already the most affordable, or I think the second most affordable higher education in the country.
These students might not even qualify for the loans. The Department of Education says the application will be done sometime in early October. The adjustments made also clarify that only federal student loans are eligible to be forgiven. For more information on how to apply, visit our Facebook page.
The global mental health crisis, experts say made worse by the pandemic, has increased the need for mental health awareness. Claire Scott shows how Utah State University celebrated World Mental Health Day with activities for students and the community.
On your mark, get set, go!
We did a 5K this morning, which I was able to run and participate in. We did a Zoom this morning about stress and anxiety and how to reduce that. We also did a drum circle here on the quad on campus. It was full. The entire circle was full of drummers, and they had some parachutes they did in the center, which was amazing.
What is your message for us?
I would say that you can do hard things and find what makes you happy.
If you're wondering whether you're making a difference in people's lives by sharing your story, you are. I feel so glad that I came to this today, so thank you.
If you make a bouquet, you use all types of flowers. Just how there needs to be all types of people in this world to make it beautiful.
This is a girl. Her name is Opal. She is 3 years old and ready for an adoption. Yes, yes. Looks like she's a little. We are just supporting both the students and the staff and faculty with events all day long where people can come out and relieve some stress and just make mental health awareness an important part of who we are.
Honestly, it's been like a really stressful few weeks. Dogs are the cutest things ever, and we just decided to come here for about 15-20 minutes and spend some time with the cute animals just to relieve some of that stress.
It's for your emotional health, it's for your mental health, and that's why it's high fitness, because you get that high endorphin rush, and it's for every skill level, so you can just come and you feel like great about yourself. Yeah.
We're here as an Aggie family to take care of each other and help each other through this type of thing. We're just trying to tell people that it's okay to not be mentally stable all the time.
Buxton said the day is all about increasing awareness and destigmatizing conversations around mental health.
As a college student, from classes to tests, you might feel there isn't a lot of free time. Now imagine adding a baby to the mix. Verl Johansson met with one of USU's couples who is experiencing this.
This is Grayson Buck. His dad, Max, is a pre-med student at Utah State University, and his mom, Savannah, works full-time selling medical software. So how do they balance being parents, students, and full-time employees?
I remember in my last semester of college, while I was pregnant, I was in the pro sales program, and in telling my professor and mentor that I was expecting, he said, wow, we really need more resources for people like you, for people who are going to school and want to, he said it specifically in sales, but want to graduate and are balancing starting a family with their career.
Savannah struggled to find resources, even when she asked her professors.
A lot of who I went to for help and guidance was my professors, because I was already needing to work with them on school assignments and saw them as a help and a resource. And they didn't know anything about programs or things within the university.
Not getting what they needed from the university, Savannah and Max decided to figure it out on their own.
We've been able to manage just between ourselves, and we have some nannies that come and help us out when needed.
This is the crib at my apartment. As an expecting parent myself, I worry, like other new parents do, about how to balance school, work, and parenting when the new baby is born.
Even with our amazing setup, there are times that Savannah needs to be at work and our nannies fall through and I just can't be in class. And it's more difficult now too with like no no options for online lectures. Like we can't attend over Zoom now.
Missing class makes it harder to keep up.
I will say it's not as soul-crushing as I expected it to be. Like it's doable, it just requires a lot of foresight, and it really requires me to take advantage of the windows that I do have to work on things.
Savannah hopes that the university provides student parents more support in the future.
I don't expect the world, but I think even just if we do check that on our FAFSA, hey, we're gonna have a kid, maybe there's even an automated email that comes with the links to some services that the university can offer.
Verl Johansson, ATV News.
The Bucks also said they hope the university will help students find trustworthy child care service options in the future.
You might have noticed less masks around campus this semester. With low COVID infection rates, USU's Department of Public Safety loosened its COVID guidelines. USU ended its COVID case containment system, which includes the COVID questionnaire. With flu season approaching, USU will change its focus from COVID-specific illness to illness in general.
We've learned a lot of lessons about illness and spreading illness. If we can truly just stay home, if you're sick, I mean, even if it is a cold, I don't want a cold.
Bruce says he hopes the USU community learns its lesson from 2020 and treats all illnesses seriously on campus.
You may have seen some drones out on the quad this week. Utah State's Drone Works Club gave students walking to class a show. Paige Johnson is live on the quad showing us her drone abilities. Paige?
Hi, Katie. I'm out here driving a DJI Mavic Pro drone. If I press the controls here, I can make it spin, I can make it lean and turn, I can make it do all sorts of things. Utah State offers opportunities with drones they say can make your unmanned aerial systems career take off.
The DroneWorks Club took to the skies on Friday to show off their skills. The Aviation Technology Program hosts the Drone Fly Day to attract people to the club.
We have more events where you learn everything from how to actually build one to we have another night where we're going to modify remote controls. We have a night in a couple weeks where we'll head up the canyon and do aerial photography with the beautiful fall colors.
DroneWorks helps students 3D print, wire, and fly their own drones. Porter says that even the most inexperienced people can learn how to fly a drone in 3 minutes.
Beginners can start with drones as small as 2 to 3 inches, but as they progress, they can graduate to ones that are almost 4.5 feet in diameter. That's not all they have, though.
So my favorite thing to do is the racing drones. I love going as fast as I can through all the hoops, obstacles, doing technical stuff.
Porter also said that some of these racing drones can reach up to 90 miles an hour.
This right here is an FPV racing drone. It has a little camera on it. It's not a very high quality camera, but it enables us to wear FPV goggles and race these using that video feed.
Bird says drones are taking over and can be used in almost every industry, so these skills can help almost anywhere.
You can join the DroneWorks Club anytime throughout the school year. Utah State also offers a UAS major and minor. Reporting to you live on the quad, I'm Paige Johnson. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Paige.
The Cache Valley community came together to celebrate USU in the homecoming parade and pick up some free candy while they were at it. USU's marching band played their way down Main Street in the parade. Big Blue and the Scotsmen brought the school spirit just in time for the homecoming game against Air Force. Later that night, USU's athletes walked the streets as well, cheered on by the community.
The whole city gets together and do this huge parade for homecoming. I just think it's interesting. It's fun.
USU honored Annette and Lane Thomas as grand marshals of this year's parade, one of the longest standing traditions of homecoming. And coming up, are you ready for pumpkin carving season? We'll show you how the pumpkin walk drew families from across the valley.
We'll show you how this girl went from rock bottom to taking home first place.
And coming up in weather, Claire Scott will have the 7-day forecast. The current temperature is 73 degrees.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you.
getting that college education. What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
"35 years of garden art." One Logan couple chooses a new floral design each year, and then they open their garden to the public. I met with the couple and learned how this year they're trying to use their flowers to spread peace.
We use these flagstones to make paths for people to walk through.
When it comes to flowers,
This is some zinnias and lantana. Here's some daisies.
Bruce Bugby
And all of this stuff is dwarf to get a crisp pattern.
knows a lot. This year, he and his wife used that knowledge for something that goes beyond the backyard.
So here's a tribute to the Ukrainian people.
They designed their garden as a tribute to those in Ukraine. They say each flower represents the colors of the Ukrainian flag, the purple flowers for the blue, and the white flowers for the yellow.
If you come to the garden, Bruce and Diana say you can come to the wood box where you can get your own ribbon, where you can then take it and find a spot in the garden to tie a bow. Bruce and Diana say they want to give people the opportunity to send a wish or a prayer to the people in Ukraine.
There's so little that we feel we can do to be helpful from our end, and we've tried to do what we can, but we hope it's just a reminder that it's important to think about those of us who are in need.
An impact that those who visit the garden say is growing.
It's just such a beautiful experience, and I'm so grateful that this lovely couple is willing to share this with everyone.
And behind the beauty comes a reminder.
We could call this botanical beauty. There's a reason flowers elevate people's lives.
Anything we can do to add to that beauty, to create beauty for other people to enjoy, then I don't think we would be having experiences like we're having in Ukraine.
Bruce and Diana's goal? To share the message. Where flowers bloom, so does hope.
Bruce and Diana say their garden is open to everyone.
And it really is so beautiful. Claire, by chance, do you know how much longer those beautiful flowers will be in bloom?
A little bit longer if skies stay looking how they look today. Let's take a look. Welcome to ATV Weather. Let's take a look at our national radar where not a lot is going on in the west. We see a little bit of precipitation in the northeast. Nothing too crazy though. We're going to move on to the state radar where there are clear skies across the board, not a cloud in sight. And that is reflected in our 7-day forecast as well, where we have a sunny week ahead of us. Consistent temperatures, look at those 72s. It's gonna be a little chilly in the mornings in the 30s, but once the sun comes up, and it will, we're gonna be feeling that warmth. Now, if any of you were around last year in Cache Valley, you'll know this weather we're having paints a stark contrast to the weather of October of 2021. A white blanket of about 12 inches of snow covered Logan this time last year, resulting in broken branches and an official snow day here at USU. This year, as you saw, we're looking at clear skies and high temperatures. This is due to an El Niño-La Niña phase that is pushing us towards milder weather.
And that tends to create sort of underperforming snowpack across the desert southwest.
So what should we expect? A drier, warmer winter where snow falls later and melts a lot earlier. You're all caught up in weather. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Claire. Now, you might be good at carving pumpkins, but this year's pumpkin walk takes pumpkin art to the next level. Logan locals went to Elk Ridge Park this weekend for this year's annual pumpkin walk. Families gathered to appreciate the handmade displays made by community volunteers.
It's just fun to see such innovative scenery, to be out here meeting people, and it's just enjoyable.
Hawk says he's been volunteering at the Pumpkin Walk for 20 years. This year's theme was Out of This World, which was more of a suggestion than a rule, as displays ranged from Phantom of the Opera to Peter Pan. The Pumpkin Walk is free, so volunteers like Hawks help organize, set up displays, and keep the lines moving. Hawk says the pumpkin walk is more than just fun displays, but it's also about service.
Have you ever struggled to find the balance between healthy and cheap meals? I met with students who teach just that, but in a tasty way. Chopping away at fruits and veggies are these Aggies teaching other Aggies how to make healthy and cheap food.
We were just doing a little demo to show people how to prepare different foods that they can take for school lunches that kind of diversifies what they eat instead of just eating like a PB&J or that kind of stuff.
Students in the USU Dietetics program host these cooking demos almost every Monday. Their intentions are to
increase awareness that the students have around cooking and preparing food in a healthy, balanced way.
Lister says the recipes they share are something that college students can make in minutes. Things that are cheap, healthy, fast, and easy. Something like this, a fruit salad.
So I'm just gonna chop some of these apples up.
Doesn't take a lot of time, which as college students, we don't have a lot of time.
Lister says they try to use food most students can find around their apartment, or relatively cheap food. Like this presentation on how to make a ramen noodle salad.
These were great options to just help with preparation and ease of convenience.
As students examined the food, many had questions and the presentation turned into a discussion.
Any other questions?
The presenters say they're happy to discuss these topics because they just want to educate students.
And be able to make it easier for other people to learn how to better take care of their body and feel that performance.
The next class is Monday the 17th, themed Hummus Among Us. And coming up. In sports, Morgan Perkins will show you what had these Aggie football players celebrating.
Find out who made the audience roar the loudest and who won the crown at this year's Mr. USU.
We'll show you what had this horse racing around the arena without her rider.
We are grooving into sports this week off some of these amazing highlights. Welcome to ATV Sports. I'm Morgan Perkins. This week was jam-packed with action. Let's get started with our own homecoming football game against Air Force. The Aggies got on the scoreboard first after this. Oh, we're having a small technical difficulty, but the Aggies got on the scoreboard first in a moment that we can see here on this screen. After this 31-yard touchdown pass from USU quarterback Cooper Legault to Brian Cobbs. This is Cobbs' fourth touchdown catch this season. Air Force scored minutes later when running back Brad Roberts ran right through the defensive line to score a 1-yard touchdown. USU ended the first quarter with a 30-yard field goal that put them on top heading into the second quarter. The Falcons started off with a drive of 75 yards in over 9 minutes. Air Force finally scoring at the 1-yard line when the Aggies have the ball. Legault threw a 36-yard pass to Cobbs and got themselves another first down. Before the end of the second quarter, Legault threw an interception to Air Force's defensive back, Jaden Goodwin, with a run of 14 yards during the middle of the third quarter. Air Force's kicker, Matthew DePore, kicked a 40-yard field goal. Air Force was leading by 4. Aggies got the ball, then took the lead for the first time since the first quarter with a 21-yard touchdown by running back Calvin Tyler Jr. This is Calvin's first touchdown of the season. USU was leading out the third 20-17. Into the fourth quarter, Air Force's quarterback threw a wide open pass to Amari Terry for a 40-yard touchdown. Utah State didn't let this get to them and came back a couple minutes later to score a touchdown after Legault passed it to Terrell Vaught. Air Force's running back Jalen Johnson fumbled the ball and USU's Andre Grayson turned it over. Then, if getting a turnover wasn't enough, Legault made a 32-yard touchdown run to complete the game, with Utah State 34 and Air Force 24. USU's women volleyball swept the competition against San Diego State University last Thursday. USU Athletics says this is the best offensive performance of the season. You can see here that USU is not only going in for the kill, but tipping it back over the net to victory. They won the game 3-0. USU volleyball played Fresno State on Saturday and won 3-1. At the end of this week, 2 players were named Mountain West Players of the Week. Tatum Stahl with 26 kills this past week. She added 12 digs, 4 aces, 3 assists, and 3 blocks to her stats. Bella Wooden was named Freshman of the Week with 7 blocks and 6 digs. She averaged 11 blocks this week. Last night's game against Boise State was a win. USU beat Boise 3-2. Highlights from that game included 22 blocks by sophomore Jordy Holloway. And thank you for ATV. Thank you for tuning in to sports on ATV. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Morgan. So these local riders, they showcase their skills and their horses at their final show of the season. Annika Johns went down to Layton to see what motivates these riders and what keeps them coming back to the saddle.
We have number 138, Jackson Black, ridden by Charlotte Sturmer.
A final ride.
Shoulders down and back.
The last chance for riders to show off what they and their horses can do.
It is the medals final, so like the final show of the year, and it's a hunter jumper show.
Educational horse shows, or EHS, are a series of jumping shows put on by Saltaire Farms every year to give riders showing experience. From seasoned competitors,
stressful, but literally the most rewarding thing ever,
to first-timers.
I learned today valuable lessons. One, my brain can do one of 2 things. It can remember how to ride a horse, or we can attempt to remember how to ride a course. It has not figured out how to do both of those things at the same time yet.
These competitions give riders a chance to show off their skills and prepare for the big leagues.
In shows like these, your skills as a rider isn't the only thing taken into consideration when determining your place. Everything down to how your hair looks in your helmet, to how shiny your boots are, to how clean your horse is and how his braids look, all helps to determine what placement you get in your class.
The riders say the show went smoothly overall and was successful despite some hit pulls, forgetting the course,
I forget where I'm going,
and some rough falls. After that fall, this rider dusted off her boots, hopped back on, and took her horse back over those jumps before taking home first place. While winning first was the goal, for some riders, this show was a chance to honor a lost friend.
That was a horse that I rode and I was really close with. He has been in heart failure for the past year, and then his health really started to decline, and so they put him down on Monday. That's why I dedicated this ride to him, because he made me the rider I am today, and I was going to show him. So I thought that if I dedicated this ride to him, it'd be like he was still here.
Annika Johns, ATV News.
The next show season doesn't have a set start date just yet, but Saltaire Farms says they plan on welcoming riders back next spring.
USU Student Association crowns their new Mr. USU. Marcus Lamb took a seat to find out who was worthy of the crown. When it comes to Mr. USU, they strutted on stage with a couple talent portions. As you can see, they had much fun dancing with each other. It was just fun moves all night long. The crowd was super involved. And Ethan Thomas won. He was Mr. Involvement. And it was a great night for USU Student Association.
We'll have to wait till Mr. USU for next year, but for now, thanks for joining us on this edition of ATV News.
You can find this and previous editions on our Facebook page.
We'll leave you with some more shots from the homecoming parade.
Have a great week, Cache Valley.